My name is Nancy Sims, and I am a certified speech language pathologist, and I have here a pediatric private practice. So I work with children as young as 15 to 16 months. That's the youngest. Up until teenagers, I'd say. Right now, I have a background where I've worked in a lot of different clinical settings with adult neurogenic disorders. I've worked in rehab centers where I've done work with people post-stroke, children and adults. We all start out with the same training, basic training in graduate school, and then from there, the settings that we gravitate to or that we work in is where we hone our skills and build our expertise with those particular populations because the field is so broad. So for me, since I've worked with so many different populations and had a lot of in-depth experiences across settings, I decided when I decided to start my private practice to focus on pediatrics, partly because I just love to work with the kids, and in doing so, I've spent a lot of time doing a lot of continuing education beyond what my requirements are within my field. And somehow the combination between my level of expertise over the years and my love of these little kids and how I relate to them and their families seems to be setting me apart from others that do the same thing that I do. So I have a lot of success with children loving to come. I love Legos. If I were, starting a career and I could figure out how to be an engineer and work at Legos, I think that would be so fun. And I have a lot of little boys. I have more Legos in here hidden and tucked away in different sections. And so little boys, mostly little boys that come in that I'll say, do you like Legos? And they're driven by Star Wars Legos or Superman Legos or Ninjago, I can't even say it, Legos, and we build Legos while we do really tedious speech tasks. So Legos are some of my favorites. The field is pretty, kids who can't speak. It's like somebody who can't ride a bike, can't ride a bike. So the foundational reason, the foundations as to why children are having a communication difficulty, some children have difficulty forming the speech sounds, and so they're not easily understood by others. Some children have the competency of their consonants and vowels and can put those sounds together efficiently and can be well understood, but they don't have strong language skills. Maybe the nuances and the difference that makes somebody really successful at it because they can think outside the box and they can second to second find something that works for that little one who comes in here crying, sensory overload, and has behavior issues, and yet somehow out of the box you have to think on your toes to think, what can I do to get them to be interested in what I'm doing? And then when they're interested in what I'm doing, then they might imitate me, and from that imitation I can then work on building the skills that I want to build in them. So I go to a toy store and look at toys completely different than other consumers. I think the first thing is to remember who you're serving. My clients are children and their families, and when I have to speak to them through my website, through advertising, through any literature where I'm trying to respond to their first question, I have to remind myself what their world is like and what they're looking for. The second one is be a student of your craft and make sure you strive to learn everything you could and can about a particular topic. And the third, I think, is just be ever vigilant in making sure that you meet your client's needs and respond to phone calls. I mean, the basic human social courtesies of returning phone calls and getting back to people when you say you will, and doing what you say you're going to do. Office evolution has been great. I'm going on 4.5 years here, and for a private single person business, it is fantastic because I have a waiting room that is so lovely, professional, where my clients are greeted by the front office manager, Beth, and I get the assistance of reception help by letting these by being told that they're with me, that they're here waiting for me, and then the phone service, getting phone call recordings both in an email if I can't answer the phone. So I'm in therapy all day. So when somebody tries to reach me, it goes to a personal recording that then goes, and I get that message both on my phone and in an email. So if I'm at home or not at the office, everything about the staff, the professionalism, the location, my physical space in my own my own room is beautiful, and I love how professional and clean and warm it is. So for me, I'm the only provider I think in this building with children, and yet there's been a beautiful support to me as a provider of children, while my clients are certainly very respectful of the fact that this is a multi-use space with a lot of different professions. So it's been nothing but fantastic for me.